Hello and welcome to
User in your channel
Dark
started recording.
Heresy, Felonies of Faith, the Ascension campaigns for this week. Dale Titus, or as some of you knew her, Kiri, or as some of you also knew her, Tyrion. And tonight it's going to be her special show and how she plans to basically take over her family, as I understand it. Is that right, Brooke?
Yep.
Is anyone able to hear Brooke?
Barely.
Yeah, she was quiet again for me.
That's robots.
Oh, I could hear clanking of a plate or something at the end there.
No.
Oh.
I say there was no clanking of
Yeah, it was Joe,
plates.
sorry. Well, I'll try just boosting you on my end. Hopefully the volume won't keep fluctuating up and down. But please go ahead and tell us, well, I guess what we should describe first is the fact that, okay, where did that token come? Jess, if you could please, not. Right, so when we had left off with Dale, it was the events of. Brooke, I heard a lot of crackling. Were you playing with the microphone jack?
Yes, because I'm trying to figure out what's going on.
Okay, well,
Does that help at all?
Sounds good on my end, but I have boosted.
Mhm.
So the rest of you able to hear Brooke?
Slightly better.
She's a lot better for me.
How about now?
That's
Yeah,
great.
that's good.
Okay. Great.
Okay, so we had left off at Zizbeth, Ilham, and well, actually, you all went to the capital after Ilham. Dale helped in the apprehension of the Lord Governor of the planet, who happened to be a Zinchi cultist, and then she also assisted scouting ahead, although Brooke was unavailable for that game session. But after those events, Machias and Cassandra let Dale know that. Oh no, sorry, it wasn't those two. It was Interrogator Maria Helix. Yes, she was the one who informed Dale that she was free to go. The Inquisition no longer needed to Shanghai her, basically. There was no longer going to be any threats against Dale's family or her loved ones, and no one was going to force Dale to perform services for the Inquisition, and it was their feeling that she did not have adequate confidential information that could harm the Inquisition in any way. And so Dale spent about 100 thrones to hop on a ship, which he was hoping would only take a week to fly her back home. We're hoping it would only take about a week, but it ended up taking nearly a month because of a warp storm. But eventually, Dale would return to her homeworld of Penitio. Joe, I keep getting weird garbly sounds out of you.
Sorry about that. I had to take my headset off for a second.
Okay. All right. Sorry. So we, if you guys aren't talking, you can always mute your microphone, because if you have the system where it picks up sound,
Microphone
starts
muted.
recording, any sort of movement or anything is going to be a sound that it'll pick up. So Dale will arrive on her home planet, and the actual name of the city, which she calls home, is God damn, did I lose that? Sometimes I just... Oh, there it is. The noble family basically owns the city which she lives in. And why have I suddenly lost the name of the city? How did I do that? It's like Titus Crown or something like that is the name of the city. It's named after her family because her family basically owns this city. And so, what was her first priority?
Going to check in on Spencer.
Okay, so going to head over to the Xanthus family, which is a subordinate family to the Titus family, who happened to also be the family that basically raised her, raised Dale when she was a teenager, because she basically ran away from home because of the constant headbutting she had with her father. She felt her father was an evil man, being a banker who's basically owns the whole planet because he's got all the control of any currency flowing in and out of this planet. And so Dale, when she arrives, would want to go return to the family that raised her, which is Tillus Zanus. He's a nobleman underneath the Titus family who primarily dealt with the shady operations to keep the family safe from threats of a indirect nature. He's a glorified assassin, and he taught Dale the arts of the trade. So espionage, spying, shadowing, learning about your target, and then dealing with the target quietly. Attilas also had a daughter, Spencer, who Dale fell in love with. And there were happy times, even though Dale was basically doing a job that Spencer didn't approve of, but Spencer was not going to follow in the family tradition. Eventually, Dale was sent on the mission to the Celestial Heaven, where we all fatefully met, and that's when she lost contact with Spencer and Attilas. And now that it's been basically 20 days since, I imagine she would have tried to send a message before she left Zizbeth?
Probably.
Okay. So it's been 20 days when the estimated time would have only been 5 days. So 4 times as long. And so when Dale arrives at the Xanthus home, she will be informed basically by the head butler of that family that Attilas took his daughter on a particular outing that the butler does not have details on.
Dale will not be particularly happy about this fact, but is going to ask him if he knows anything about her father's affairs.
She's going to be asking this butler of the Xanthus home?
Yes.
All right, give me an inquiry. And you're no longer sitting at all those horrible trauma penalties anymore, much to your benefit. And yes, the butler will mention that, in fact, there'd been a recent announcement from the Titus family that the interest rates for all lower-born people will be increasing by 30% in this upcoming month. And all the savings will be passed on to the noble clients. So it's a moderately huge inflation on all the low-born, but who cares about them, honestly?
With that, we'll say thank you to the servant guy and she will try to sneak it back into her family's tower.
Okay, so she's going to attempt a stealth route.
Yes.
Alrighty, so the tower in question, the Titus Estate, is the highest point in the city. The way to this estate is basically a slightly lower tower right next to it that basically has an elevator that leads up to the towers, and there is essentially a drawbridge between this elevator tower and the actual estate tower. The floors, about 20 floors below the actual estate, has all been filled in with concrete by Dale's grandfather's orders as a security precaution. So there's no way to, basically sneak through the floors below the estate. One could attempt to climb along the outside of the building, but considering how high it is, it would be a very long drop down, and you would be particularly exposed climbing up. There is a car park, basically a parking garage on the uppermost floor of the estate. And there is usual deliveries for food and services 2 to 3 times a week, depending on need. So if she wants to stealth her way in, which approach did you want? Oh, excuse me. Which approach did you want Dale to take?
Well, since my original idea of just climbing through the tower doesn't work, must have expected me to take that route. She's going to try and sneak in on learn the patterns of, the deliveries. If there is one. Then sneak in on one of those.
Okay, so what kind of methods were you going to use to collect that information?
It'd just be observation of what's going in and what's going out. Or
to just observe, you would basically need to find a vantage point to observe from, and considering this is the highest tower in the city, you'd basically have to get onto the roof of some other noble family's tower and spy from their rooftop.
Is the Xanthus one anywhere?
Yes, actually, the Xanthus Tower would be one of the nearby ones.
Well, then she's going to observe from on top of there, since she has access to it, I would assume.
Well, nobody's seen her in 3 months. So is she going to try and just break into the Xanthus home, or is she going to try and charm her way in? Because the head butler isn't just going to let her in after she shows up after 3 months.
Oh, I kind of assumed she already. Well then I guess she would try to charm her way in. That's what she does.
You do have 1 fate point. Bear in mind it's 1 fate point.
Too early to use it.
Too early, you said?
Yes.
Okay. And bear in mind, I think you've got the automatic detection mode turned on for your audio?
Yes.
Okay, because it cuts off like the first half second of each sentence you say, so you might have to stretch out that first syllable a little longer than usual.
Okay.
All right. And of course, if you ever pause, there's also an issue there. But in any event, the butler is none too impressed with Dale's attempt to charm her way in, and will state quite sternly that only the master of the house can determine when guests come in and out, and since the master of the house is not here right now, you will be respectfully asked to leave.
I'm gonna give him that look like, you've got to be kidding me right now, and I guess she will go and try to find some other way into the tower besides the front door.
Okay, so with the Xanthus Tower, basically security on this tower is high as well, not as high as the Titus main tower. So were you going to basically just scale the side of it outdoors? Remember, you're still extremely high up, so there are risks.
Are there any other like servants passageways or anything like lower?
Yeah, they're building. Actually, you could access it from inside the tower. So basically, you want to go to a lower floor and work your way up.
Yes.
Okay. So give me some stealth rolls. So concealment and move silent.
Ah!
Okay, and I'm going to roll an awareness check. All right, so naturally there will be security measures blocking passage, such things as kind of access panels, but it's all the sort of thing that would fall under your security skill. So to attempt to bypass these would be the security skill. But just before you make that roll, let me mention that these are fairly high quality devices. So if you fail, you will trigger alarms. If you fail spectacularly, you won't just trigger an alarm, but they'll know exactly where you are. And you will have a limited time window to proceed through the tower while even if you succeed, because there will be routine checks on these panels to see if there's been any tampering. Of course, if you get a really good roll, you will leave no signs of tampering.
I'm gonna go for it anyway.
Okay. Bravo. Okay. That will be a couple of degrees at least. So, very nice. Yep, 3 degrees. Dale will be able to basically jury rig the various security panels. It's a little familiar because, in fact, this is sort of the sort of thing that Attilas trained Dale with. So it feels like coming home in a way. And eventually she would make her way through the building. And let's say, give me a 1d10 roll. And you want to avoid the ruinous numbers. That is one of the ruinous numbers. So I'm going to ask you to roll a fresh concealment and a fresh move silent. Okay,
apparently it was to my benefit.
Alright, so I'm rolling as well. And basically what happens is, as Dale's moving her way through the Xanthus Tower, she will accidentally walk into one of the security chambers where obviously some things have been rearranged since the last time she was in the tower, because she thought this door led to another hallway, but apparently they've changed up the way this building's laid out or something. And inside the room is a number of security agents monitoring television. What's the 40K word for display screen? Holodisplay?
Cogitators?
Cogitators are like
that's it.
computers. The display, I guess, holodisplay.
Oculus.
Oculus.
Oculus play, yeah.
Yeah,
Sounds about right.
probably.
I know the on the bridge of a battleship, the main display is often called the Oculus,
Okay.
but just a screen is just like a data screen. You know, it doesn't really need a 40k name. It's just a fucking screen.
And both of you want to add something?
I was gonna say, like, I think for something that simple would be just the screens of the feeds of various picked recorders and stuff.
All right. So yeah, it's a security chamber. Dale realizes she actually took the first door when she was supposed to take the second door. But it seems with the door sliding open, nobody turns to look. And Dale can be on her merry way. And eventually she will make it to the Xanthus car park. And from there, she'll have a decent vantage point of the Titus building. How long is she planning to camp out in a parking garage?
Probably just a couple of days.
And what is she going to do for food or washroom needs?
Good question that I don't have an answer for.
This is why impulsiveness is not a safe thing.
Yes. Well, she's going to ignore it for as long as possible.
Okay, so that'll be a series of toughness rolls.
Fantastic.
Okay, so she doesn't exactly have the greatest stamina. And it will be basically after her first day, she's already feeling the pangs of hunger and thirst. And, well, she is in a noble tower, and there are kitchens and supply closets and whatnot. So if she was feeling sneaky enough, she could attempt to, break into one of those places.
Can I roll willpower? And if I fail, I'm going to have to go and find food. And if I succeed, well, she's gonna ignore it as best she can.
Okay.
I guess I'm going to find food.
Okay. And so Dale's going to muck about wandering around in the Xanthus Tower some more.
Yes, unfortunately.
Okay, give me a awareness roll, please. No, I can't recall. You have some bonuses, but it's not quite enough. Unless, well, wait. Did we give you a heightened sense at all? No, we never did get around to that, did we? Damn. Okay, yes, the pangs of hunger keep her a little too distracted, and she's going to miss something. But, yeah, eventually, well, give me an intelligence roll. Ouch, that's quite a few degrees of failure. Dale is going to have some difficulty remembering where a safe place to grab a bite to eat is, and basically in her, I'm not going to say it's a desperate situation, but in her activities, she's going to essentially bump into a servant, physically collide with them, because coming around a corner at the same time she's coming around from the other direction sort of thing. How will she handle that initial rush of, I just bumped into someone?
Bill. No, Jess. She will actually pick up the servant and hope to talk her way out of it.
Okay. Now, I imagine Dale has equipped herself with her stealth gear right now, because she's sneaking around.
Correct.
Okay. So, it's a young servant woman who will be rather startled to see someone in a blur field in front of them.
Okay. She will offer her hand to the servant to pick the servant up.
I'm assuming you're shutting off the stealth field first.
Oh, yes.
Okay. And is Dale going to expose her face to do this?
Yes.
Okay. And so I'm going to roll for the servant to see if they recognize your face. They do not. And they will shout, "Guards! Guards! Someone's in the house!" Or the estate, or whatever.
Fantastic. Is going to throw her hood back on and and be stealthy again.
Okay. And so Dale, well, let's see if this servant, I'm rolling in private. Well, at this point, the servant suddenly feels very sheepish as this apparent assassin just ups and disappears. And they're just going to lie on the floor, flabbergasted. As Tyrion is making her escape, she will come across some guards basically running past her towards where they heard the screaming, and they show absolutely no sign of being aware of Dale.
That was close. Well, she still hasn't gotten any food, unfortunately. I would assume, can I make, like, a roll as I'm sneaking out? There's a distraction?
Sorry.
Can I see if I can find food? So if there is another distraction going on?
Well,
yeah.
Sorry, what were you saying?
Well, I was gonna say, like, on the way out, she's not gonna go rooting through the tower anymore.
Okay, so she's exiting the tower entirely?
No, she's gonna go back to where she was and hope she isn't found.
Oh, okay.
But, like, on her way back there.
Okay, then certainly you can go ahead and make an attempt. Okay, so yep, she will eventually realize the folly she made earlier and will remember that kitchen is down that other hallway. And she can go ahead and make the attempt to get into that room without notifying any of the other servants. While this is taking place, however, I'm just doing a roll for the servant you bumped into to give a report, and then whether the guards believe the report. Okay. So, as Dale, she keeps changing her name, as Dale is sneaking about through the Attilas Tower, there is no sign of any sort of alarm or alert. It seems that they've disregarded what the servant had suggested, and it's just hogwash. A bored servant just misbehaving, it seems.
Well, that's some good news. Do I have to do, like, sleight of hand to steal food?
Well, now that you're in the kitchen, once again, stealth and concealment and silent.
Crap.
Okay. And I really got to get a more level field for my dice. They keep sliding right off. Okay. Your concealment degrees of success, because you are wearing a blur field. Yeah, so your total degrees of success still outweigh their degrees of success on the awareness. They're busy. They're working to prepare a meal. Because they're not just preparing meals for the Xanthus family, they're preparing meals for all the servants and the various employees of the family as well. And go ahead and give a sleight of hand to pluck something that Tyrion will be able to touch on. So rolling with it.
Yeah.
Okay. So with that roll, basically, Dale will be knocking over a frying pan as she tried to grab some delectables from one of the counters. And sorry, I'm just checking. I think I got a message from someone. Oh, sorry, just a moment. I'm getting a quest here. Just got a bit bam boom. Oops, helps if I send it to the. There we go. All right. Clang clang goes the frying pan, and well, let's see. The head chef will yell at the closest servant next to Dale, saying that it's their fault. They have to stop dropping things, or else they're going to be thrown back out on the street. And when he says thrown back out on the street, he means out the closest garbage chute.
She's going to sneak out now.
Okay. So eventually, just to speedline things a bit, she'll eventually make it back to her vantage point. She now has something to snack on, a bit of a beverage too. We'll say she grabbed some water. I mean, there'd be bathrooms all over the place. And so she's just observing from her watch point then, is she?
Correct.
Okay. She's going to try and stay there for days on end, you say?
Yeah. I mean, not too terribly long.
Okay, well, give me, what do we roll here? An awareness and a willpower. Okay, so that's still going to be a success for you, and basically it'll be long enough that, give me an intelligence roll as well, please. Okay, can't be 100% sure, but it feels familiar, like they're doing the transports basically on the same schedules that they were when Dale was growing up. So, will she attempt to just get in one of those transports, or is she going to attempt a different route?
She's gonna try to get into one of the transports.
Okay. And it's going to be not a quick matter, so it's going to be a few days. So, while this is taking place, eventually, yeah, she would be exiting the Xanthus family, because there won't be any transports between Xanthus and Titus Towers. So as she's exiting, give me a new awareness roll. Very nice. She'll overhear basically well, I guess it could be an arbitrator asking some questions about they'd say a woman identifying herself as Dale Titus. We have reason to believe that this is an imposter. We need all the information that any members of this household happen to have. We received reports that she came here with the intent to speak with the Lord of the House, and we believe that this may be a assassin with some manner of disguise whose intent is unclear, but if they're masquerading as the daughter of noble Titus, then this certainly spells bad news.
Uh-oh. That is not a good report to be hearing. Considering while she's sneaking around. She's just going to continue to exit.
Okay. So once again, just to save time, I'm going to say she's going to be successful in getting out without rousing all sorts of suspicions. And where to next?
Does she have any idea of where the transports come from?
Well, she has an idea. If they're food transports, they're probably coming from one of the warehouses, keeping lots of food. If they're general supplies, like there would be a small tech shrine inside her noble estate, so occasionally tech priests would make orders to replenish their supplies of gear, but that's less predictable, because while tech priests are very routine, the amount of work that needs to be done at the Titus estate is minimal.
Well, then
and,
she will.
I was going to say that miscellaneous items as well.
Microphone
People,
activated. Microphone muted.
Basically calling out for services that can't be done within the house itself. So additional maids, or, occasionally someone gets fired or something like that.
She will go to the warehouses and transport things is going to. She'll sneak into the warehouse.
Okay. So, at this point, it's been a few days, and let me just see here. Sorry, I misspelled something. I'm just asking something of a player. Excuse me so much. Hello, wife. But as that's taking place, moving in and out, eventually making it into the lower sections of warehouses. And basically she wants to get into a food transport, correct?
Yes.
Okay, how is she going to find which one is the appropriate food transport that's apparently to go to the Titus family.
That is a good question. Is there like an office?
Yep, there would be a foreman's office.
Going to sneak into there and hope she can find something out there.
Okay, so foreman's office will be very clearly labeled, but it will also be, well, what time of day? Well, this is 40K. People are working every day, all day. So, would she wait to go between work shifts, or would she just go at her earliest opportunity?
Between work shifts.
Okay. So basically, the whistle blows, people start to migrate in and migrate out. The office manager basically comes off the floor and into his office to start doing the paperwork. The door is unlocked. He's in the office, punching away at a cogitator terminal.
Not actually going to sneak in. He's just gonna go up and ask.
Okay, well, she wouldn't have been able to get into the warehouse wearing her noble clothing, so she'd need to try and change if she was going to try and do this the legitimate way.
Okay, then she would change
Hey, give me an agility.
somewhere. Crap.
By the time that she's done changing and back at the office, and the office has been locked up again, and there's no sign of the foreman.
Crap. Okay, well, plan B, she's gonna break in.
And I assume she's going to be
Oh,
changing outfit again.
Yes.
Okay, so give me concealment and move silent. Okay. Okay, that's the closest I think. Well, no, we've confirmed Malal in the past. Sorry, I'm just sending another message. Okay. So she sneak. Give us your security to break into the office. All right, I do not believe that is going to be able to cut it.
I believe you're right.
And so she's going to be picking at the lock for a while when, give me an awareness.
I have a question for you.
Yes?
Didn't I have, like, a set of keys?
It's a multi-key, yeah. And
that
it balances out the penalty.
Okay. I had to try.
Yep. Okay. Basically, a different foreman will walk right up and trip over top of Tyrion as she's attempting to crack the lock on the door.
Tyrion will freeze and hope he doesn't try to figure out what was caused him to trip.
Well, he's going to immediately look around to try and figure out what he just tripped over. And, he's going to seem kind of flabbergasted at first, then his eyes will grow wide, and he's going to draw a pistol on you.
Fantastic.
So, initiative roll. Now, naturally, you're getting to go first.
Do I need to put it in the initiative order?
No, it's just the two of you right now. All the workers are down below packing their boxes and whatnot. You're basically on a catwalk up above, and at the moment, he hasn't fired the gun, so there hasn't been enough noise.
Well, she's gonna try to find an escape route. I'm assuming that's no awareness?
Well, you're saying she's just going to run away. No other objective at this point?
No.
Okay, then, yeah, go ahead and give me an awareness roll to see best escape route.
I don't have a clue.
Well, she will still make the effort, I assume.
Yeah, she's not. She doesn't want to get shot at, and she doesn't want to kill somebody in the warehouse.
Okay, so as Tyrion makes her escape, she's obviously sprinting. The man will not lose sight of her, surprisingly, despite the stealth field. As she's running, you don't have hard target, do you?
No.
No. Okay, so just a negative 20 to his roll. He will miss. However, a gun has just been fired inside the warehouse, and the employees' awareness, I'll roll publicly because there's so many of them. It seems a few nearby seem to notice that their boss just fired a gun, and I'm just going to roll their intelligence privately. They just get back to work, double time. They're afraid of why their boss is shooting. They're not going to get in the way of it. But ultimately, Tyrion will eventually be able to get around a corner, hiding spot. Would she jump inside a crate or something to try and hide?
Yes.
Okay. Give me a D10 roll, please. Very good. It is your lucky day. Tyrion is going to be sealed inside that cargo container pretty much as soon as she gets inside of it, and it's going to depart.
Fantastic.
So is Tyrion going to wait until it's reached its destination, or is she going to try and cut her way out of it?
I'm gonna try to cut her way out of it.
Okay. This is a helpless target, so I'm going to say it's really just going to be a matter of time how long it takes you to cut through the corrugated metal. Yeah, go ahead and give me, let's say 1d5, or sorry, well, I guess just because you might get righteous. 1d10 divided by 2 plus 1d10 plus 1d10 plus 1d10. So 3 d10s and the 1d10 divided by 2.
So you said 3d10s plus 1d10 divided by 2?
You want to roll them separately, though, just in case you get righteous.
Right. But I just want to make sure I have the right number of d10s.
Yeah.
Oh.
That would be indeed a righteous. So give me another D10.
Can I just ask a question? Why does it always seem that I never righteous fury on a living being, but only inanimate objects?
Curse of Dale?
Say another D10.
Yes, one more D10. Okay, and so, yes, 28 will definitely be enough penetration to get out of that box in quick enough order that it won't be loaded onto the transport. However, as Tyrion slices open a hole large enough for her to escape, excuse me, actually, better question. Would she cut a hole through the side, the roof, the bottom, or through the door that was closed?
Well, I think she would actually have waited until it was on the transport, in all honesty.
Oh, okay.
In hopes that it might be going to Titus Tower. Just on the off chance. And then she would probably do it through the side. One that's facing away from the door, if she can figure that out.
Okay, she won't be able to reach the one opposite of the cargo container door because there is crates and boxes between her and that wall. So it's left side, right side, floor, top, or door.
It would be the left side as close to the far door as possible. Or the far wall as possible. So like as close to the other crates as possible.
Sorry, I'm not quite sure.
So you said there were crates. There were crates in the back of the container, right?
Yeah, there's, and pretty much you've got not even three, like 2.5 feet to really squeeze around depth, but width you've got about 5 feet.
Okay, then she would just do the left side and hope for the best.
Okay, and based on the layout, that will cause her to slice into another cargo container.
Fantastic. I guess she's just gonna try to conceal herself into the cargo container.
With a great big hole in it.
Away from the hole.
There's not a lot of space to hide in, but she is flexible, so give me a contortionist roll. Okay, and did you get a bonus contortionist? No, you didn't. So, basically, Dale's going to wind up getting stuck for a bit. So you're going to need another contortionist roll, and if, based on the number of degrees of failure here, you may still be stuck by the time the delivery is complete. Never mind. Yeah, with that roll, Dale will be able to squeeze her way wherever she needs to get to feel confident that she's hidden. And so she's just going to wait it out until the cargo container has reached its destination.
Correct.
Okay. And your assumption was correct, that her lucky day is indeed a lucky day, and she is deposited at the also familiar Hive Titus. And I'm just finishing up the map right now, and so I'm just going to say, let's pause the recording, Joe, as I just finish up the last floor of the map.